What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I just got done binge watching season 2 of the Vince Staples Show on Netflix. Man, I had a wonderful time watching this. I think it's equally as funny and quality as the first season, but I think the cinematography is a little bit better because I can tell that the budget was upped and you could just see where those dollars landed with the visual prowess of the show. What I love about this season is, unlike the first one, it is a full storyline, so you have to watch episode 1, 2, 3, and so on in chronological order. The first one was a bit of an anthology type series. It had a subtle streamline through all the episodes, but typically you could just watch any episode and not be lost. Not the case here, and I think that that's gonna cause a divide for some fans. I think some people may like the anthology series better, some people may like this one better. I like them both equally, but I just think that it's a fresh take to take what was anthology and make it into this series. It's kind of like the reverse of what Atlanta did, how it started out as being a series in the first few seasons and it just turned into like an anthology type thing. I enjoyed it, and it's only 6 episodes, 20 minutes a piece, so that's 2 hours of watch time. It felt more like a movie to me than an actual show, and I really love that aspect of it too, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm more of a movie guy than a show guy. So moving into what the show is about, I'm gonna try and keep it non-spoiler as possible, but if you don't want to know anything, just go ahead and watch the season and come back and hear my thoughts on it. So first of all, you don't need to watch season 1 to enjoy season 2. I think it was pretty smart how they took a small piece from season 1 and made that small thing all about season 2. But again, you don't have to know anything. They reintroduce everybody, the characters that you're with through the dialogue. And this is about Vince Staples' uncle James, his mom's brother, passing away, and it starts with Vince and his mom taking a road trip to Uncle James' funeral. And as you can imagine, the first episode pops off and things already go wrong in some of the funniest ways possible. And I like how there's a subtle layer here of him dealing with grief in the whole season. Everybody's saying, like, Vince, I know you're going through something. So I do wonder if this was part of something Vince may have been going through, even though at the beginning of the episode it says this is a work of fiction. Anything that is similar is just a coincidence. But I know art gets drawn from certain places because this is Vince Staples' show. He produced every episode. I think he wrote a few episodes as well. So it's not like this is just pulled from nowhere. There's some type of truth here. But I love the way it goes about grief. I love how it goes about family legacy. I love how it goes about family relationships and just how you should treat each other as family, whether that means you show them some tough love and draw a line in the sand, or you embrace them more. But it's never hand-fisted either to make it seem like anything is forced. And with this being season 2, this one is way more self-aware than the first one. Whether they classify Scream as being meta, this is super meta. There are moments when people openly reference Vince Staples doing a season on Netflix. I think his uncle is talking shit to him and he's like, Vince ain't been the same since he got up with Netflix for that show. Or hell, a guy that Vince runs into says, hey, when is season 2 coming out? I'm ready to see that joint. There's an episode where Zach Fox guest stars for a quick moment when he openly says, my role on Abbott Elementary boosts my fame and that's why I'm here. So season 2 is fully aware of itself more so than season 1, even though season 1 does do it. But this one pushes the limits because the first season was such a success. So I said I wasn't going to get into spoilers, but I kind of have to just to talk more about the show. So if you have not seen season 2, go ahead and exit right now. And those are my initial thoughts. I enjoyed it. I found it super entertaining. And I rewatched it because it was a short watch. So spoilers from this point on, you have been warned. So season 2 does what season 1 did, where it takes these regular situations and exaggerates them, but here it's even more exaggerated. As I mentioned, we start with Vince and his mom traveling across the state to go to a funeral, and Vince pulls up in a Porsche and just parks in front of the store, and he gets it towed, and it's kind of like, everybody knows that you can't just pull up and park your car anywhere. So that in itself just, I think, speaks to this idea that celebrities think that they can do what they want to do, and that point is even referenced later on in the season. So once his car gets stolen, he has to go to a rental car shop, and things again go bad. And I think that part was so funny to me because I spent this year going to rental car shops quite a bit, traveling, and seeing people go through this exact same thing that they went through. somebody doesn't have a license, but they still want what they want. His mom ordered a specific car and they didn't have it, so now she's mad. It even goes into territories of trying to blackmail Vince for payola to get the car that he wants. And I just think that bringing all of those things together from just a normal perspective and throwing some of his famous stuff that he has to deal with on the regular into the episode was genius, because just like the first episode of season 1, when he was in jail and that dude approached him about, a record deal, it's the same thing here, but it's even more exaggerated. From that point, they finally get a car and have to go to their Uncle James' estate, where there is reading of the will and things are given out to the family members. And one of Uncle James' wishes is to give Vince the mansion to hold on to it and not sell it. So the family leaves, and while Vince is in this house, it's supposed to be a rumor that it's haunted, and he's, walking around getting all of the bumps in the night, and all of a sudden he gets knocked out. In the next episode, he wakes up in this hotel type thing with a bunch of white people as staff working, and their only job is to appease black people. This shit is so funny and awkward. What makes it hilarious is Uncle James is clearly like a reference to O.J. Simpson. And it just takes that idea and manifests it into absurdity. So Vince has this cat and mouse game trying to get out of this mansion. I mean, he even gets put in a room where they have a game of Clue go on in the middle of the episode. It doesn't make sense. And I'm just laughing my ass off. And when he finally does escape, he gets chased by this group. And then it turns into like an action movie where he's shooting at them with AKs and shit like that. And then he finally arrives to the funeral all beat up and scratched up, and everybody's still looking at him like, why were you late? Like, what were you doing? When it's like, clearly, this man is battered and bruised, but they don't give a shit. Which then leads to what I was talking about earlier, where he touches on family, because throughout you have family kind of rifting because of Uncle James' passing, and people are talking about rights and those other stuff, and that's where he lays it all out of how family should treat one another, and it's a nice tied bow on the episode to end it on that message. So even if we don't get any more seasons, this works just like that. So all in all, I had a great time watching this, and I hope that we do get a season 3 to see where the creative process goes, because man, they really honed in and made this a little bit more artistic than the first one, and I can appreciate that. So let me know in the comments what you thought about season 2. What was your favorite episode? Me personally, I just liked all of them, and I really loved that it was more like a movie. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.